Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you follow me on TikTok, you know that I post a lot of crochet content, but a lot of my followers are either beginners, they're just starting out, or they've never tried crocheting at all, but they really would like to learn. So in today's video, I thought I would share some crochet patterns that either I've tried myself and really enjoyed, or that I've just found and I think would be suitable for beginners. So I would consider all the patterns in this video to be suitable for beginners. Some are more challenging than others. I'll talk about all of them. I'll talk about which ones I think would be really good for a very first project and which ones I think would be suitable for beginners but maybe a little bit further down the line. And honestly, a lot of these patterns are still things that I love making even though I've been crocheting for a few years now. So even if you've been crocheting for years, I would still recommend checking out the patterns in this video. The vast majority of these patterns are free. I think there's only one paid one. All the original patterns are linked in the description, so please go check them out. And hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have found your next crochet project. So first I'm going to start with a few apparel patterns, and the first one is the Easy Breezy Ribbed Beanie pattern from the Turtle Trunk. I think this would be a really great first project because it only uses one stitch. You basically make a rectangle and then you fold it in half and sew it up and like cinch up the top. This is one of my favorite patterns. I make it like constantly. You can make it in a solid color, or you can also make it with a multicolor yarn to make it look fancier than it really is, which is fun. To me, this pattern is proof that you don't need to overcomplicate things. You can make something simple and you can love it. Next is the only paid pattern on this list. This is the Summertime Cuties bucket hat from the Dearest of Things on Etsy. I know there are free bucket hat patterns out there too. I'm just sharing this one because I've been using it for literal years and I love it. I think this is a great pattern for beginners because it is only one stitch. The base of the hat is only one stitch, and then you also learn how to work in the round and how to do some increases, which are really good skills to know for crochet. And if you don't feel like tackling any of the appliques or add-ons just yet, you still have a nice bucket hat. You can also use the base hat pattern and make it your own. So I made this cloud bucket hat. I used the base from the Bucket Hat Cuties pattern, and then I found a cloud applique pattern and I just sewed those on. Next up is a pattern that I actually haven't made myself. It is the Crochet Scarf for Beginners from Be Hooked. This would be a great first project for beginners because the video tutorial is so thorough. If you have never picked up a crochet hook before, I think that you could follow that video and make a scarf. It also uses chunky yarn, which I know some beginners really enjoy because you can get a finished project a lot quicker than with thinner yarn. And it's also easier to see your stitches with chunky yarn. That is one that I would highly recommend if you are completely just starting out, never done any crochet before. Next up is the Blair crop top pattern from For the Frills. I feel like this top is a great example of something that looks more complicated than it actually is. The pattern itself is actually pretty simple, but you get a finished product that looks really professional and fancy. It's a written pattern, but it also has a video tutorial, which I know a lot of people really like. I made this one for a Carly Rae Jepsen concert and I loved wearing it. Next up is another pattern from For the Frills. It is the Briar Pocket cardigan. This was actually my first wearable crochet project ever, and I still wear it all the time. I love it so much. The body of the sweater only uses one stitch, so that makes it really easy. And there's only a couple rows of shaping with increases and decreases in the whole pattern. And then for the ribbing, you also get to learn front post, back post, double crochet stitches, which might sound intimidating, but there is a video tutorial, and it's a really good thing to learn to add ribbing to projects. Next up is the Alpine Stitch scarf from Desert Blossom Crafts, and I put this one on the list because if you make it in red, it is a very good dupe for the All Too Well Taylor Swift scarf. I never finished this one. It was supposed to be a Christmas present for my brother like 2 Christmases ago. I should finish it, but look how pretty. I'm obsessed with this. This pattern uses the Alpine stitch, which is a teeny bit more complicated, but there is a video walkthrough for the stitch. And then once you learn how to do the stitch, it's just the same all the way up because it's a scarf. So that's why I included it in this video, because once you get the hang of it, you're set. And finally, for the apparel section of this video is the Stony Shore pullover from Evelyn and Peter. I haven't made this one, but I really want to. I think it's so gorgeous, especially in the yarn she uses in the tutorial. I love it. This one I would maybe not do as like your first project ever, but if you have a couple projects under your belt and you want to tackle a sweater, I think you could definitely do it. I think this is another one of the ones that looks more complicated than it really is. Next I have some home and decor things. First is Mama's Easy Crochet Dishcloths from Crochet 365 Knit 2. This one has seen better days. It is very well loved. I feel like washcloths in general are a very good beginner crochet project because you get to practice stitches, but they're also functional. And they're small, so you can finish them and feel good about yourself. There are tons of free washcloth and dishcloth patterns out there. I would totally recommend these. Find some in different stitches that you like to practice different stitches and just get practice. What is this? Just get that muscle memory of crocheting in your fingers. I just recommend this one because it's one that I personally have tried. Next we have the crochet mug rug pattern from Joe to the World. I have a couple like coaster type things in here because I just think they're so cute and so functional and so small, easy to finish, great for practicing different stitches. This one's really cute because you get to add the fringe on the ends. I really want to make this one. This is a written pattern, but there's also photos included to help kind of guide you through. Next is the Crochet Froggy Coaster from String Beans on YouTube. I think this one is so adorable and I really want to make it. Stitch-wise, this one is very simple. I believe it's just one stitch. I think it's just single crochet. But you get some practice at working in the round, and the video walkthrough is super detailed, super helpful. Next is the Mug Nest Coaster from Jessica Paz Creates. I literally use this every single day. This is a written pattern, but I still think it's pretty easy to follow along. You can see that most of it is just one stitch and then these like bobble stitches for the outside, which are really fun to learn how to do, so I would recommend it. Next up is one of my favorite blanket patterns ever, the Coastal Comfort Throw by Daisy Cottage Designs. At this point, you would think that I am being paid to talk about this pattern. I'm not, but I love it so much. As you may already know, I use this for my Taylor Swift surprise song blanket, but I also used it to make this throw blanket for my dog. I used up a bunch of scrap yarn that I had lying around. This pattern alternates half double crochet stitches with these double crochet cluster stitches. It sounds more complicated than it is. There's a video walkthrough for the stitch so you can learn how to do the cluster stitches, and if you want, you can make it striped like in the pattern, or you can just make it all one color and you'll still have a really pretty blanket. Next is the Sun and Moon mini wall hangings from Love and Stitch Design. I haven't made these, but I really love them. I put this one on the list specifically because I think it's a really great place to start if you want to get into tapestry crochet and changing colors. There's only 2 different colors in this pattern, so you're not dealing with like 10 balls of yarn attached to your project that get constantly tangled, and it's so stressful and you don't know what you're doing. Crocheting with multiple colors can be a mess, but with just 2 you should be fine. They're also small, so I think they would work up really quickly, and then you have a super cute piece of decor for your room. And also, tapestries are generally done in just single crochet, so stitch wise it is very simple. Next up is the Retro Striped Sunburst Granny Square Throw from Not a Curl Crochet. I've never actually made a blanket out of this one, like the pattern, but I use the Granny Square pattern all the time. I did not weave in the ends of this one. Please look away. You don't see anything. I just think this is a really fun square to kind of get you into the world of granny squares, which is a world that I really avoid a lot of the time, but I love this one. You can make it into a throw. You could just use this as a coaster. You can make it into tote bags, which is what I do a lot of the time. Your possibilities are endless. Next is the Love Letter book sleeve from Maham on YouTube. This pattern is so cute. I really want to make it. The video is super thorough, explains everything step by step really well. I was peeking through the comments and a lot of people said that it was their very first project and they felt that the video was really helpful. I just think this is a really fun one if you're into reading and you want a way to protect your books if you're taking them on vacation or wherever. This creator has a ton of super cute tutorials that I would highly recommend. Please go check out their channel and their stuff because it's so cute and I want to make everything. Next up, keeping with the book theme, is the Simply Daisy bookmark from This Pixie Creates. I just made this yesterday, and I think it's so cute. I didn't attach the tassel correctly, but we can ignore that. I've already been using it. I love it. This is a written pattern with a video tutorial, and it's fun because you get to learn this like daisy stitch, but it's also very small, so it shouldn't take too long, and then you have a finished bookmark. Next up, we have a crochet tote bag from Joe to the World. It is a written pattern with a video tutorial. I haven't made this one, but I really wanted to put a crochet tote bag pattern on here just because I love crochet totes. I took a look at the pattern for this one, and I think it would be definitely suitable for beginners, so let me know if you make it. I also wanted to include some AMIGURUMI patterns. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Basically like little crochet plushes. I don't know why I'm holding like this. A lot of people find these a little bit trickier, but they're also what I see a lot of beginners starting out with, so your mileage may vary. The nice thing about these patterns are that they generally all use just one stitch, mostly just single crochet, but I know that working in the round and the increases and decreases can be a little tricky for some people, so be patient. First up, we have the mini pumpkin pattern from Not Bad. I think this is good for beginners because you're basically just making a circle or like an oval. There's not like a bunch of different parts that you have to deal with. Plus, we are heading into the fall season, so this is one that I personally really want to try out. Next up is the Cottage Garden crochet tomato pattern from Jen Hayes Creations. I love using this pattern for little tomato keychains. I think they're so cute. This is another one that's pretty simple because the body is just basically a circle, a sphere in single crochet, and then you add the little stem. Next is the baby chicken from DIY Fluffies. This is another one that's on my personal list of patterns to make. I think it's so cute. This is another one with pretty simple construction. There's a written pattern and a video to go with it. You can make this with any kind of yarn. You'll just get a different size chick in the end. I think it looks so cute with the chunky yarn. Next up is the Brontosaurus dinosaur pattern from Stringy Ding Ding. Of the plush patterns, I would definitely say that this is the most difficult just because of the shaping of the body, but I also did this pretty early on in my crochet journey, so I put it on the list anyway. You can make it in any style and any color. I did this one in light pink and I sewed on some sprinkles and a little cherry to make it an ice cream dinosaur, which I still think is very cute. These also work up pretty quickly, which is nice. And finally, we have the little frog pattern from Wonder Crochet. I just think this is so cute, so simple. I think it would work up really quickly. Again, this is available both as a written pattern and a video, and I just think we all collectively should make this because it's so cute. So that is it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed finding these patterns. Let me know if you make any of these. Send me a message on Instagram with a picture. I would love to see your finished projects. Again, the links to all of these patterns are in the description. Please go support these amazing creators. I truly think that crochet pattern writers are like our strongest soldiers. They're amazing. They're the backbone of this whole crochet community and I love them. Please go support them. I love you and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye!